Well, the polls have turned against the Liberals. Many of the pundits have gone sour. Even the bookies are favouring Labor. Now, the road to re-election for Scott Morrison and one of his rising star MPs is about possibly to get even tougher. Daniel Lewkovitz is a security expert and CEO of Calamity, who lives in the seat of Wentworth. He joins me now from Sydney. Daniel, you have an exclusive announcement.
Hi, Rowan.
Hi, mate. How are you?
Very well. I'd love to say I'm excited to be here, but I'm nervous, I'm apprehensive, but it's very important what I'm doing because I think
wait a second. We got to let the viewers in on the secret, Daniel. That's how TV works. You have an exclusive announcement to make tonight on Sky News. Daniel, the floor is yours.
Rowan, it's my pleasure to announce that I am running as a candidate in the federal seat of Wentworth. I've joined the Liberal Democrats. I've decided that both major parties are not doing what Australia needs right now, and I've decided to put my hand up and to run in that seat and to make a difference and to bring some real leadership to voters who I know, being one of them, are just fed up with what we've been getting for too many years. We have weak government because we have weak opposition, and it's time for change, and I want to be part of that change.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people will be saying, well, you run a great security business, those people who know you, and I'd ask you to tell us about that security business and your background in a second. You're a successful guy, self-made guy. Why would you want to enter politics?
Well, Rowan, a lot of people have asked me that question. Look, 2 years ago, if you said to me, would you like a pay cut and to move to Canberra, I'd probably laugh at you. But the last 2 years have really opened my eyes to what's gone wrong. I mean, if you were in a coma for the last 2 years and you just woke up yesterday and you open the newspaper, you'd be reading about climate change, about gender issues, about the Republic, about very fast trains. You wouldn't realise you'd been in a coma. You'd think you just had a nap for a couple of days. And it's as though the last 2 years hasn't even happened. And one thing running a security business, Calamity, has taught me is that when the house is on fire, when things are burning, that's not the time you look at what colour to change the paint or where to put the furniture. I mean, I'm not saying those are unimportant issues. They are. But right now, our nation has got to do more than just pick up the ball that was dropped 2 years ago as though the whole pandemic has been a distraction. I mean, when the pandemic started, and I was looking at this, with my risk management hat on, this country was so hopeless, we couldn't even make cloth masks. We had to wait for those to arrive by ship from China. And so 2 years later, what are we looking at? Nothing. We have no local manufacturing. We have no capability. We have no independence. We're still completely reliant on others. And so, you'd hear build back better from various world leaders. We haven't built anything and nothing's better. And I think Australians have woken up to that. They see shop fronts closed. I've walked past several of them on my way into the studio. They can't find staff to work in their companies. I've had clients of mine every day ring me in tears saying that they've lost their business. And these are people that did nothing wrong and they got sacrificed by people who still have their jobs and had no skin in the game. And that's why, as a business owner, I'd like other business owners and really talented people to consider politics rather than what we've put up with. Unfortunately, the people who've gone through that are now, they're in despair, but they read the newspaper and they're told, oh, don't believe your lying eyes. Employment's fantastic, the economy's fantastic, the future's fantastic. I think voters are smarter than that. And voters are actually looking for a genuine option rather than just being forced to go down to the polling booth and pick the least worst available option.
That brings me to the key point here, Daniel, and sorry for interrupting you there, but that brings me to the key point. You've joined the Liberal Democrats. Now, the Liberal Democrats, that's the party of Campbell Newman, that's the party of John Ruddock, that's the party of many disaffected Liberals. They've left the Liberal Party because they found the Liberal Party wasn't satisfying their conservative values or instincts, and they've joined the Liberal Democrat Party. Now, explain clearly what you think, I'm labelling you a Conservative, you might have a different label, I don't know, but what you think you can bring to the electorate of Wentworth that Dave Sharma is failing to do?
Well, as you remember, today's the day we're looking back on Holocaust remembrance, and this country saved my family. My grandparents arrived here after the Holocaust. They went into the clothing industry. They ran factories here that had lots of migrants in them, and I'm tremendously grateful for this country because it saved them, and it was freedom, and it was an open border to this country that actually saved them. So, you know, when I look at the last couple of years and I see this country closing borders, not letting people leave, not letting people in, that really scares me. And of course, the other problem is that, you know, the whole fashion industry has disappeared like every other industry. We don't make things, we don't do things in this country. So why have I joined the Liberal Democrats? Well, it really comes down to freedom, and freedom means different things to different people. It can mean freedom of speech. It can mean small government staying out of your business, not telling you how to run your business, not telling you what to do in your own home. I invite people to visit my website, voteluco.org, and that has links to the Liberal Democrats' Freedom Manifesto. It's an outstanding document. And one thing that's remarkable is the number of people who, you know, they have to vote every year, and they've probably never even visited a party website. They don't know what those parties even stand for. But these days, many of those parties don't know what they stand for. And that's certainly the case for the Liberal Party, who in the last few weeks have started talking about freedom. Well, that's something they should have been thinking about 2 years ago, and they've forgotten. But it's something that's very important to me, and I invite people to learn more and actually really think about the difference that their vote can make for the future of this nation.
And there you go, Daniel Lewkovitz, congratulations on your announcement here exclusively on Inside the News. You're running in Wentworth against Dave Sharma for the Liberal Democrats. Thanks for joining me on Inside the News.
Thank you, Rowan.